Hello, everyone. This is Mythical, back with more mythical podcasts with the boys Connor and William Has Given Up. We're talking about Clone Wars Season 2. A lot of juicy stuff to bring up today. More violence, more death, more destruction, more things that cross the lines of this being called a child's cartoon.
And more Triscuits. Why are you burping during the intro?
How disrespectful of you.
Look, you both told me to go get a coffee.
This is true.
That's
I finished mine before we started.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was alive and awake and just, ready to party, and you guys were like, William, get a coffee.
Anyway.
Liar.
We all watched an arc.
Yes,
I
we
think
did.
You watched 3 episodes. You actually had a full arc this
Yeah,
time.
I actually watched it. I didn't just... first of all, I did watch 3 episodes last time. I just wanted to focus on the best one.
We will each be talking about 3 episodes that form what would be called an arc.
Technically, you violated our treatise that stated you would do filler episodes, but I'll let it slide.
Much like
podcast.
Star Wars, I'm a rebel.
Okay. So how are we going to do this time? So we could go chronological order, which would mean, William, you start because you did the Cad Bane arc.
I think that works, especially since he went last time.
That seems right, and I guess I'll be in the middle again because Geonosis pretty much immediately follows that. And then you've got the Mandalore arc, so you can close us out. So I think...
It was not the Mandalore arc with the Welcome to Death Watch, but I'm
wasn't.
pretty sure that's the one with Ahsoka doing things with her boyfriend, which we'll get to.
Lux, yes, him, indeed. That would be later on.
Now, there was still some love action in these episodes, but
Yes, there was.
It's a terrible phrase for anything ever.
Love action?
Yeah.
Okay, so no seamless transition. Just start talking.
So I watched Holocron Heist, Cargo of Doom, and Children of the Force. They're all basically about chasing Cad Bane, who, following the previous episode in the finale of season 1, he was basically hired by Palpatine to go and get a holocron, and then in the second episode, it's about him unlocking the holocron, and then it's revealed, oh my god, it has a bunch of children locations in it, which is so suspect. But anyway, he goes and steals some children, and then they chase him down and they go after him. And the reason I really was excited to watch Cad Bane episodes, because Cad Bane is
cool.
Well, beyond that, I think it's the first creation of the Clone Wars that feels like its own thing. Because season 1, what's really good about it, and what's really good about the show in general, is it's very iterative, where it's really great at taking the things that were previously established and expanding them. The clones are my favorite part of the series in general, and I think it's because the show kind of looked at the tragedy of them and examined them as people, and I think it's great. Yeah. But Cad Bane is just there was never there was bounty hunters and stuff, but there was never this idea of a bounty hunter that was so good that it gave the Jedi consistent problems. Jango Fett is a problem for 2 days,
pretty much,
and Cad Bane is the evolution of that. He honestly is. He is he's basically what the series wanted Jango and Boba Fett to be.
Dave Filoni's OC.
He stole a holocron. That's
no
small feat.
And and Holocron Heist. What's really cool about it is that episode is actually he's the protagonist for most of it.
Pretty much.
It opens with Ahsoka fudging some shit up on the battlefield, and they're for your punishment you're going to be on holocron library guard duty.
That's the one where she's commanding and she says we're gonna do this, and then Anakin's no, pull out, and then something blows up.
Gets
right?
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. Just making sure.
Responsibility. Wow.
In short, it looked like they were pulling back, and Ahsoka's no, they're we should be pushing forward then, and then Anakin was no, you're not seeing the wider picture here. We've seen what they're going to do. They're about to pull back and strike again, and you're going to get so overwhelmed and you'll die. And so she's punished for it by the Jedi Council, and that's how she gets on that.
Good save, Anakin.
And in that first episode, he is a protagonist that's dealing with the shit coming as it's going. Obviously, he's villain, And then fucking in the second episode, while he's back to being like a straight up like antagonist role, he gets to like, it's so cool to me to look at him like in the captain's chair of like a separatist ship, and like he's in charge of like this whole thing, and like his strategy is really weird because basically he sets off the ship to blow up, but he still uses like Ahsoka as a lure to get Anakin there so he can unlock the holocron for him so he can actually like get to the destination. And it's like he's such an interesting way of like doing this character, and like he even I think it also there's that really great moment in the third episode where they try and find out where he's going, where 3 different Jedi attempt to like masters attempt to invade his mind. And while he gets close for a second, he's still able to avoid it.
He's really strong-willed. He's
That's
thick-headed.
like Mace Windu, right?
It's Mace Windu, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and an angry Anakin Skywalker.
And Ahsoka's in the corner like, holy shit, what's going on? This is wrong.
And like I was like, oh yeah, that's just how they get. I'm like, no, it's like, and he's not weak in that way, but he also it's just there's something about like the fact that they went, let's create a gray alien like lookalike guy, make him blue, let's give him sharp pointy teeth, and he's gonna wear a cowboy hat, and he will be so cool. Like it's
He's literally Dave Filoni's
awesome.
OC.
Yeah, it's
the
basically
cowboy
Dave
hat
Filoni.
does
yeah, no,
it in.
I love Cad Bane a lot, and I think there is he feels like this is very like he's just a bad guy, like a bad dude, like getting by, but he's like the main bad dude. And that's why he's so cool to have around. I love him, and that's why I will never forgive Book of Boba Fett.
I'm sorry, what's that you're talking about?
Yeah, I
I'm
never
sorry, I
heard
was
of
talking
it.
about Andor. Anyway, so like Cad
Andor
Bane,
would have actually been really cool to see Cad Bane, but it wouldn't
I
have
don't
made
know
any goddamn
how would have
sense.
they introduced
It would have
them,
been
yeah.
stupid, though. It would have been a stupid fan service thing. But I want to go back to the point you made about when he tried to like mooch off of one of his friend's Netflix accounts to watch it because he didn't buy his own subscription. You know, when he captured Ahsoka to open the holocron.
I hate you so.
So that's actually a thing Netflix is pushing back on now. But anyway,
Oh my god,
I
it's
was
so
about-
silly. We
quote
could talk
unquote.
about that. Yeah.
We're not going to though.
Okay.
This is, to my knowledge, this is the first time in like a really super canon thing that a holocron was mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like obviously there were
Yeah.
like books and whatnot, and that's not to like push down like the importance of those books, but like something of like mainstay, like this is the current Star Wars thing
Visual.
happening.
Clone Wars does that a lot though. Like it just like small little pieces of lore it just inserts in, and some people won't even
It's
Mhm.
like
it,
notice it.
and
I mean,
like
Holocrons you will, but like just
Like-
like building that universe and that world building.
there's also something to the fact of like a character who is passively evil, quote unquote, where Cad Bane is willing to do like a shit ton, but like I also get the sense that he's like a dude. Like I don't know, there is something to that fact where he is evil because the Separatists pay him and Palpatine
Yeah.
pays him, and like you get the idea that like if I could just hang out with Cad Bane, like I feel like Cad Bane would just like because that's like so real to me, where he feels like a very grounded character
Yeah.
in this morally conflicted world where he kind of just sits on like the outskirt and is just like they're paying me more so I don't care, and it's just like he has a cool voice.
He does.
Yeah,
his
I
voice
can't
is
wait
really
until
awesome.
like that like the escape game show episode.
Yeah.
The big
The box.
Box,
Oh,
yeah,
I
the
want
box.
to talk about that arc so badly
Oh,
because
yeah.
that is one of my favorite season 4 arcs. Of all of them, it's such a really weird one. But the
Yeah.
development we get for Cad Bane is astounding.
it's so good.
Which
How they humanize him.
like he's got to appear later. Why is he not gotten a spin-off?
That would be
don't
fun.
know.
Instead of Book of Boba Fett, it could have been Cad Bane's
No.
Adventures.
Yeah, I
some
know,
No,
shit.
okay,
right?
but here's the thing. As far as I'm concerned, like, if we're going off of just like how fictional deaths work, and we've already crossed
we
the
already know
boundary.
he's not.
Yeah, we've already crossed the boundary of a dude.
Yeah.
Star Wars, like death hasn't mattered since Darth Maul's admittedly really awesome comeback, where like dude was chopped in half, like Palpatine exploded, and they both came back.
Boba Fett survived.
Boba
the
Fett like
Sarlacc.
death.
Admiral Trench literally got blown into the vacuum of space, and then he's back, and just half of him is a robot, and he's
Space.
fine.
Yeah, I mean, fucking Ben Solo got thrown into a fucking ravine, and he's just like, "Well, I'm back, actually."
But then he dies anyway. So
Yeah, but
it's
then he
like-
dies anyway.
Yeah,
And
so-
like, but like,
Did you watch Bad Batch?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Okay.
I will be doing that
I'm-
this weekend.
I'm just saying, we have crossed.
I'm gonna assume that means something though.
We have crossed the
Sorry.
bounds.
Fuck. No, it's fine. I'm not angry that you spoiled it. I'm angry that it's stupid. Anyway, continue.
It might not be stupid. It depends if they stick with it.
Okay.
We've crossed the bounds where like death kind of it doesn't matter anymore, and like I've always said, like you have to see the body get chopped to pieces in order for
That's
someone
just
to be
the
dead.
Disney trope that unless
Yeah.
you see a body, and even then they could probably pull some
Yeah.
shit.
They lingered over Cad Bane's carcass for so
should've-
long.
Look,
Yeah.
we'll get to it when we get to Book of Boba Fett,
Which will
in
be
a
in
thousand
like
years.
it'll be an
Oh,
eternity.
we're gonna have to watch every single episode.
That was a show.
shit.
I actually watched that show week to week, and what a regret that was of my
Yeah,
life.
I did too.
I remember when I watched episode 6, I had this canister of peanut M&Ms. It was like one of those big ones you can get at like a huge warehouse store. And I was just going through and whatever, and like while I'm watching it, I find this peanut M&M. It's like misshapen to look like BB-8. Like it's like the M&M, but it has a little hat, and I was like, it's so cute. So I like didn't eat it, and I kept it out of like the rest of them.
Mhm.
And it just sat next to me while I watched like AI generated voice Luke talk to Baby Yoda, and it was really sad.
Moving forward, because this is the Book of Boba Fett episode.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we
Um,
were talking about Cad Bane.
Yeah,
so is
surprise
this a
everyone.
Cad Bane
I would say
transition?
the only thing I wanted to say about that, I don't think that's it, is I really wish he would have been the full season villain. As
Yeah.
opposed
Oh
to
yeah. I totally
have like
agree.
a definite like villain, but yeah.
I would love to
um,
cover that extensively when they get there, but let's get back to this.
But one thing I find interesting is that these set of episodes is actually one of the few times that you can actually say that Sidious lost to the Jedi, because his plan is unequivocally, I'm going to get this guy to get the holocron. He's gonna sneak in. He's gonna like unlock it somehow, and then like either through me or through a Jedi, and then I'm going to steal these children, and then I'm gonna use them to become evil, like
I guess
Sith
Inquisitor,
babies.
like proto Inquisitors, probably.
something like that. But like they take it was also a fun little Easter egg, not really Easter egg, but like reference. Do you know what planet they go to? The end.
Or it's on Mustafar.
It's on
correct?
Mustafar,
Yeah.
and-
Which I think is that always kind of off put me a bit, just because it feels really weird to see them go there before what they do there later
it's
on.
Like it's in the movie. They're like, oh, it's a separatist meeting ground.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever. I don't know if that was acknowledged.
I don't
or
think
whatever.
it's this. I think it's kind of a like really secluded mining planet. Like the native species there are pretty docile from what
Yeah.
I understand, but it's not really like an active separatist post because they don't have any
But that's
armaments. or
that's where
anything.
they met, and that's why Anakin
That's-
was there. That's like
Yes, because he went there too. Well, they thought he was going to be there to
Yeah.
protect them, but he was there to kill them. But
uh,
yeah, like the place wasn't like a military outpost as much as
But
it was.
like the greater point was
exile.
it's a fun reference to that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of
like-
think that's a nice inclusion.
yeah.
But yeah, but like in the end, the Jedi show up, and while they don't find Sidious, they don't know who like hired Cad Bane, and Cad Bane won't talk, and I think Cad Bane gets away. Yes, he does.
Classic,
Yes, he does.
yeah.
Good for us.
Like the overall thing of Sidious wants a bunch of babies to turn into like his evil Force babies. He doesn't get, and he's like fuck the Jedi, and like it's one of the few times where like that was clearly not a thing where it was orchestrated, where the like, oh, I'll do this and the Jedi will think they're heroes, but actually I'm the hero. It was he fucked up.
Now, can I ask a couple questions? Because I want to have my memory just a little bit refreshed
Nah,
before
I'm good.
I make a point. Okay, fuck you. So wait, what happens to the holocron when after they like go to Mustafar to save the kids and Cad Bane escapes? Do they
I think they
return
get it back. I
Okay.
believe they get it back.
All right. Because what I was gonna ask was, I remember very clearly, because I've watched like the clip of it a lot of times, even though I've only seen the episode maybe twice. Like Palpatine mentioning to the droid that's in the facility, like, relocate the kids to my secondary facility on like so and so or whatever, which implies that he has like a network of this setup that he actually like is gonna try to carry this to fruition. But
Even in-
obviously the kids get taken.
In
so.
one of the books, like he hung out on Mustafar for a while, and like that's where he ended up like raising up Darth Maul.
Interesting. I wonder if that's still canon or not. according
That's
to
a
Disney.
great question.
I don't
but
know.
That's
Yeah.
definitely what the book.
I honestly prefer
Actually,
Mustafar.
yes. I think it might still be.
I prefer Mustafar to be exiled from as much of the events of the outer galaxy as possible, just because I feel like the impact of what it holds in episode 3 is so significant that the more that we see it, it kind of like it lessens the value of seeing that fiery hellscape for me. It's more of just a personal thing. I don't think it's a problem, but I've always just really liked the first couple shots going to Mustafar and Anakin pouncing in and everything. It's just there's nothing like it in the galaxy that we really ever see ever again to that scale, at least. Like, you know, we've seen little snippets of Solist in a couple stuff, not any of the movies or shows or anything, but like that's only a fraction of the terrible place that is Mustafar. So I feel like limiting its presence is
rereading
better,
the
but...
Wikipedia for the plot. I was
Okay.
correct. It's
Okay, cool.
a hilarious sentence here. The Master Padawan duo enter the facility, drawn by Whis cries. However, the droids use the children as shields while fighting the Jedi.
That's right.
As the facility falls apart. However, the Jedi managed to snatch the children away from the droids.
Okay, so Palpatine like literally completely lost then, because he not only lost the holocron, Cad Bane did get away, but he doesn't have the information, and none of the kids were kept in his control.
It's like it's like a mid-sized win because they stopped him, but they also don't have Cad Bane,
and they don't
no
know what he
fucking
was
clue.
trying to do.
Not really any the wiser.
There's also a hilarious scene where Cad Bane has to pretend to be a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like they catch Cad Bane when he's trying to get a Gungan baby, and I will say this: Gungan baby was actually pretty cute.
I remember it being pretty cute. He gets the Rhodian kid, right, and he uses the little mind control hypnotizing disc.
Use that more often, Cad Bane.
that for me is a bit of like a kind of moment where I feel like we would see, like, I get the brain worms, like mind control in Star Wars is really fucking weird, but like the brain worms I understand because like that's a very exclusive thing. It's only in like the depths of Geonosis, which we'll be getting to very, very soon, boys and girls.
And it's also like a hive mind, whatever.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to say about the sets of episodes, which could be seen as a marked improvement in many ways. Ahsoka is like a headliner in this. And I honestly think, like, from the gripes that we had, like the little gripes we had with her, I think she's really improved in this part. I think she's already showing, like, she's like being, well, like, she's bratty in many ways. She is kind of like losing the things that's like more like obnoxious in the sense. I think like she definitely comes across as more like a headstrong kid thrown into a war in this, and no, I honestly really like her like development already, and I think her relationship to Anakin as like a very brother sister type, I think is already very clear, and I think she really works as like a character that can drive things forward. And that's like it's like what you really need out of a protagonist, and she's already like doing that. Like she messes up, and so she's like, and that's her own choice, and then that own choice, like she ends up in the library, and then her choice to do that, she pokes around because she's bored, and that's how she uncovers Cad Bane. And then like, oh, it's Cad Bane, and then like she constantly pushes forward and tries to find like a new thing. She develops like a rivalry with Cad Bane. She like acts recklessly, but it always like drives something forward plot wise to keep it entertaining. And I think like already she's showing like the makings of just like what like why the fan base like loved her so much.
Yeah. I remember in our last podcast I just scratched the surface of that, because Ryloth for me I think is like one of the earlier points of that development beginning, but this arc definitely is a huge landmark for Ahsoka, and Geonosis is even better.
She's not in my episodes.
Oh, that's a shame. That's okay though.
Maybe watch better episodes. I don't know. Maybe watch Cad Bane based episodes. Fine. How's that? Any episode that involves Cad Bane.
There's only like 10 Cad Bane episodes in the entire 7-season show.
They at least spread them out pretty good.
Like he's not in anything after season 4, which is really weird to think about. Like he has his opening episode in season 1, which you watched. He has these 3, so that's 4. He doesn't come back again, I think, until
season 7.
Yeah,
right?
Or no, I think he was in 6.
No. He was in some recent because
he was like the prison.
That's Bad Batch.
Oh, he was in Bad Batch.
Yeah, I'm not counting Bad Batch.
I mean, come on though.
Not in terms of like his appearances in the Clone Wars. Yeah, okay. I count Bad Batch as canon, like whatever.
No, I mean like count it as like it's the next season of the Clone Wars. times.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, but
even like with
all right.
season 2, the reoccurring characters, it was like
Yeah.
pretty clearly
It's the next
Clone Wars.
season. This is more than Rebels, really. It
Yeah.
is the same tone, style, like
yeah. But still, like in terms of just Clone Wars 1 to 7, like this is kind of his like halfway point of how much we see him, because I don't think he appears again. Correct me if I'm wrong. Until the Reiko Hardeen arc.
Yeah, I know that off the top of my
Is that
head, dude.
and that's the one with the prison.
That's the box you were talking about,
Yeah, that
where
like, there's-
Obi-Wan quote unquote fucking dies, and then
That's honestly such a good arc,
quote
though.
unquote fucking
It's
dies.
good. Oh my god.
I know.
What are you quoting?
no, I hope. Actually, I don't even care how you feel. I want to talk about that one specifically because I love what they do with Anakin. So
Yeah,
fight
Anakin's
me.
pissed.
We
It's
can talk about that
great.
later. But I do unironically want to talk about it. But we can chat about that later. It's okay if I don't. But I do really like what they do with him and Anakin and the distrust of the council, whatever. That's irrelevant to what we're talking about now. Do you have any other points on the episodes you watched, William? Anything at all?
I would just say, overall, I think it's like really fun to chase. I like the variety of the episodes where I think some of the other arcs kind of end up being like one long string of a thing, but this feels like 3 individual episodes that have their own unique way of approaching this character and like having him interact with the plot. And I think it's really dynamic and a really great way to start the season, these first 3 episodes. And yeah, honestly, the only other thing I like to say is I sometimes think that the firefights are better than the laser sword fights. And
I tend to agree.
I really
at this
like
point.
Cad Bane.
My arc definitely has good parts of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're even just like
Lots of
forced
Cad Bane
not
in
to-
it.
He drops in. I think Cad Bane is just
Firefights.
an icon that we should all adore.
Cad Bane, my beloved.
Yeah.
I'd kiss Cad Bane.
Need like a scalp?
I
Why
won't-
the fuck? What are you getting? Right?
I,
Why are
I
you talking about licking scalps, dude?
You know damn well.
You have no audio-based evidence.
okay, so Geonosis. This seems like a natural point to start chatting about how fucking weird this arc is, but how much I really like it. It's the Clone Wars has a lot of arcs where it does like a battle over the course of 3 episodes or whatever. Like we talked about Ryloth last time. Ryloth was like the space battle, the landing, and then street battle, and then the capital city siege part. With Geonosis, though, it's a landing, and then everything else is on the ground, and it's like an infiltration, and then a rescue mission, and then, interestingly, they choose to have a 4th episode, which follows the events afterwards and shows the effects of certain thing, which I will touch on very soon. One thing that I noticed watching this with this particular time, I didn't really see before, was it kind of gets the tone of it progressively changes, but also just like the atmosphere and just the vibes, you know, they get really, really kind of creepy and icky and just sort of devolve from just pure action into kind of like horror. It's interesting that the first episode's just pure nuts to butts, just action. It's just them landing, people are fucking dying left and right, gunships blowing up, there's cannons shooting things, people explode. Anakin and Ahsoka are like counting the number of people they fucking kill, and it's just like
It's like
really
a competition
edgy.
for them. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
which I want to just highlight that in a second because it's really funny, and that's kind of maybe a little weird for me to say that, but like the episode plays it off as funny because they're just talking about droids they kill. But anyway, you get out of that and you roll into like them having to infiltrate the catacombs, and we get just a hint of like what's to come in the next episode. It's just a light little tease, but it isn't anything much yet. And then in the next episode, we're back in the catacombs, but instead of it being like just a waypoint for us to get to the factory, it's now like the place they're exploring, and it's creepy because there's zombies. Ooh. So yeah, Geonosis it's really neat how it kind of uses this setting to sort of convey a genre switch, I guess is what I'm getting at here. It's reflected through both its slightly progressively darkening tone that just flat out gets like a a little nearing pessimistic about how shitty Geonosis is as a place to be. I mentioned in Attack of the Clones that I like the planet Geonosis quite a lot, and I think this arc really does it justice. It is a hellhole, not only because it's a dry, arid desert that nobody wants to be in, but it's also terrible when you try to go in cover underground in the caves, because then you find zombie insect bugs that want to control you.
What is the name of the set of episodes you watched?
What was the name of the set of episodes?
Yeah.
Landing at Point Rain is the starting one. It's, I think, episode...
Landing at Point
5.
Rain, Weapons Factory, and Legacy of Terror.
Yes.
And then
it's
the
Geonosis.
following one, because that's
Brain
technically...
Invaders.
Yeah, Brain Invaders is technically part of it. It's like a 4-episode.
It's like a weird aftermath.
Yeah, like I was saying, it's kind of
it's
like...
pretty connected still.
Usually the Clone Wars would end it with the 3rd episode, and they typically do 3rd episode cut off arcs, but it's like the immediate following and sort of showing the impact, the legacy, for lack of a better word, of the terrorists. Brain stopped working there. My brain my brain was invaded by vile thoughts.
No,
you could say.
Not the worms.
So now I'm going to go into a little bit of depth. So with the first landing at Point Rain, like, legitimately shocked me while I was watching it. I was taken aback at how quickly I got swept in. I've never watched this episode and, like, thoroughly enjoyed it as much as I did this time. For whatever reason, it just immediately, the battle kind of begins. They have a brief little setup. We set up the Anakin and Ahsoka are, like, cutting each other off at, like, with I slipped a word there. They're counting each other's kills. They're not pulling a Yuri.
Jesus Christ!
This went places.
Cut that out, Mythical.
I don't know if I want to. Any opportunity to mention DDLC is a DLC for this podcast.
What is the downloadable content?
Yeah.
Just keep going. Like, what
Anyway.
happened about Genie?
What did
Genie ISIS.
Oh my god. You're over here mentoring terrorists, and I'm like, oh my god.
Well, technically everything is a terrorist if it just, like, tells you to go fuck yourself.
I'm not sure that's how that works, William.
If you're inspiring terror and that's how you, like, get
And
things
you're an
done.
ist, then you're a terrorist.
See, Mythical gets it. Mythical fully understands.
Next time you're on
the
stream...
official definition of a terrorist in the UN something. I don't know.
Okay, William, next
Probably
time
racist,
next
honestly.
time you're on
Probably racist.
stream with Joe, I want you to ask him about that. I want you to interview his thoughts about what defines a terrorist.
Hey Joe, what are your opinions on terrorism?
Can we say this word on
No,
YouTube?
you probably have to cut this out.
Fuck. Anyway, back to not that.
Terrorism.
Quiet you. Connor, silence him.
Silence.
I give you permission to do
I'll
whatever you see. Oh, right, you can do that.
Speak louder.
That's a foolproof way.
No
Just
one has fun.
cut the audio entirely.
Wait. Look at the timeline. Is it just like completely?
It's basically just like even the room tone
Awkward
died.
silence.
Awkward science.
Also, these are both fast chargers, William. By the way.
Well, okay, one of them's for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I think it
Just
was even faster.
while we're saying things that are just gonna get cut.
Can I talk about Geonosis again,
Anyway, yeah,
please?
yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're talking about killing. So the way that they like edited this, it's just so like well put together. It kind of has like Saving Private Ryan kind of vibes in terms of just how like there's just so much death, and it's treated so like it's just presented to you with no filtration whatsoever. It's just like, yeah, we're flying down, we're trying to land, people are just blowing up. And even the main characters' ships, for once, also get shot down. They don't favor them in any way. The plan...
I mean, they still live.
They still live, but they're injured too, though. That's the other thing. Is like Obi-Wan gets the furthest of like the different ships carrying Jedi, but he gets like fucked up by the crashing, and he can't be in the battle, and he doesn't come back in the arc until the 3rd episode. So presumably he spends 2 episodes recovering. Like he doesn't even use his lightsaber, I think, the whole episode.
That's pretty.
Which is nice. Kiadi Mundi crashes a little bit further back, and he has to like go to the rendezvous point. Basically, the goal is all of the Jedi are split up in different ships, and they're going to rendezvous at this square area where they've set up tanks in a giant circle to kind of cover them from all angles, and they're going to advance towards this ray shield defending the factory where Poggle the Lesser is, and he's producing droids at a mass capacity.
I like how no one's just ever heard of orbital bombardment. It's just not a thing. It exists until they decide it needs to.
They actually mention it in this episode.
Oh.
They do. I think Kiadi-Mundi's clone general asks Yularen for orbital bombardment, and the excuse he gives, which we can maybe question, is he's holding position in the air, because there's also like aerial combat. So this battle is
okay.
There's like 5 different like things going on. So Obi-Wan is out. He's just in no man's land, basically stranded in his crash ship with his troops, stuck between the droids who are marching towards them and the clones who landed. That's Cody's unit. That's like the second part. And Cody sends Waxer and Boyle from the Ryloth arc. I don't think I mentioned them before, but shout out to one of them for getting a little like helmet tattoo of the Ryloth girl that they helped protect.
That's cool, like progression.
Yeah, I know they have that in Umbara, but I didn't realize it was
Umbara,
here.
no.
But anyway, the third thing that's happening is Kiadi-Mundi. He's like way back there. He's got to catch up. So he like gets his men to just like fucking burn the Geonosians with flamethrowers. Which is a meme I see all the time of like, yeah, the Jedi are keepers of the peace, and then Kiadi-Mundi's line, "Bring in the flamethrowers." It's like, yeah, keepers of the peace, real nice.
Yeah.
And
My
then
arc will focus on that.
oh yeah, hooray.
The Zillow beast.
Did someone say morality?
Okay, but I was actually kind of hoping you were going to talk about the Zillow Beast, because I wanted to mention Sheev Palpatine riding R2-D2 to safety.
It's so... Those episodes are good, though.
Yeah, they're not bad.
I love
They're
the
a little
Zillow
funny.
Beast. The Zillow Beast
but,
is
like,
fucking awesome
yeah.
looking. And the second one is called the Zillow Beast Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And it comes
Sick
back in the
Star Wars
Bad
reference.
Batch, too.
Yeah, because
I
it's a
don't-
good show.
I don't remember what they did within the Bad Batch, but I know it was back. So anyway, though, and then Anakin and Ahsoka are like, they when they're planning the battle, they're like, yeah, okay, so we're gonna go here, but there's this fucking wall. We can't go near the wall. And Ahsoka's like, you know that wall's there, right? And he's like, yeah, we're not gonna go anywhere near that. And she's like, okay. So they crashed like prematurely because, you know, they were trying to get to the rendezvous and they crashed. So then they run into the wall. And Ahsoka's like, what the fuck? You said we weren't gonna be here. And he's like, well, we're here now, so let's just blow it up. So they blow it up. And then they rendezvous with Kiadi-Mundi. They hold hands. They walk towards the rendezvous point, and then everybody's back together again. We're all happy, hunky-dory, and Yularen's having a smoke up in the sky with all the different battle droid ships that are attacking him. So I guess he's holding position. And that's basically the episode. They blow up the shield. So then the next episode is they infiltrate it. We get Luminara and Barriss. We're introduced to these new Jedi. I think actually we met Luminara in season 1, but we didn't.
Yeah, it was like
Talk about it.
hologram kind of stuff.
There was actually, I think, an episode with her and Ahsoka, right? Where
There
they,
might have been actually, yeah.
that's when
In one of the episodes we watched, she showed up in a hologram.
okay, but like that's the episode where her and Ahsoka fight Aji, and try to break out Nuke Gunray from SCP containment.
Oh yeah, okay, those episodes were funny. Okay, I
Yeah.
remember that now.
Yeah, but now we're meeting Barriss, her apprentice, and it's really neat because Barriss is a foil of Ahsoka, and Luminara is a foil of Anakin.
And they'll use that later.
They
Yes.
will. We get a lot of interesting little things in just that one episode where Barriss is like as uptight as her master, a little more willing to be freeform than Luminara is, but Luminara is more by the books, but definitely more well versed in the order than Anakin is. And it's interesting to see how they kind of compare their trust in their Padawans. And at first it comes off that Anakin's just being a dick because he like will not let Ahsoka do things. But it's revealed that it's not because he doesn't trust her, it's because he cares a lot about her. And when they kind of like get up to that point, it rips a hole in your heart, because this is like the foundation for his attachment to her really starting to form. And that's going to bite him in the ass later on in later seasons when shit hits the fan.
It's gonna bite him in the ass in like 3 seasons.
Yeah,
but just like building those connections so it's like actually meaningful, like actual storytelling.
Okay, well,
character development.
it does have relevance beforehand, though. I'm not going to say that it's only relevant in season 5. In season 3, the Wookiee captured arc, I think, she gets
yeah, that's a
separated
good
from
one.
him, and he has to deal with the fact that he can't help her, and she has to like be capable of keeping herself alive, and he has to put trust in her, and that works out. And I want to talk about that when we get there. But this is like, I think, one of the first defining moments of their affection being realized, and it's wonderful. So anyway, we do that. They blow up the factory. I don't really have much to say on that. Illuminar gets captured by the bugs, and they try to feed her a brain worm. And these are mind control worms that crawl into someone's nostril and take over their body and make them a part of the Geonosian hive mind, which is controlled by the Queen, which is this ugly-ass slug thing that lives in the basement of Geonosis. She has never seen the light of day. She does everything from the shadows, and she's like only a rumor, apparently. So they go there, and they're like, oh, this actually exists. Can we have our friend back? And she's like, no. So they're like, okay, and then they just blow the place up, and they get Luminar back. But Obi-Wan, like, does something interesting, and I guess this is another, like, weird Obi-Wan moment, but he's like, I want to, like, learn how the bugs work. I want to take a worm back and study it. Because he's like, he wants to understand, is it just like a way to capture them and like by like luring them in there so that Poggle can like take them captive, or is it because they want something more? And it's revealed that he's right there wanting to like control all the Jedi with the worms and I guess unleash an army of worm Jedi to the universe for some reason. That will work. So that fails spectacularly for the Geonosian Queen. I think she dies. She gets collapsed in on by a bunch of rocks. I think she's dead.
It'd be really cool if there was some connection between that and like the clones' chips and mind control. Although I guess that's a little bit different.
So there is a line about that.
Yeah.
You want to hold that thought for just a second, and I'll come back to that. Because that's something I noticed. They do sterilize Geonosis later, too, so even if she did survive, she's definitely
the great cleansing.
That's weird.
See, orbital bombardment. There we go.
In a way, yeah. With chemicals, I guess. Maybe not the way to do it, but it's a way that you do.
It's a way.
Yeah. And why? Because they wanted to build the Death Star there, I think, was the plan originally. I don't know. Anyway, so Brain Invaders. I'm almost done, and then we'll talk about Mandalore. Brain Invaders.
I think you mean finished.
Finished? Okay. Brain Invaders.
Moments like that, maybe you could just cut to the end of the random rambles and just have like the sound and just like outtakes. I don't know.
I feel like that
if you're really starving for content, that is.
That's definitely how you.
And I know you are.
That's definitely how you should end the random rambles. It's just like, so this is done. I think you mean finished, and then just like 5 solid seconds of complete silence.
So like,
and maybe this like the start of the laughter and then it cuts.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. You tease them with the laughter, but you don't give them the full track. That's the way to go. Like I was
perfectly cut GIF video
for the last random rambles we did, which is going to come out tomorrow, April 1st. Which I guess by this point will not be tomorrow, but April 1st is a day. So like, go back in time and watch it. So like the Belle Delphine thing I said, I think there was. I was like, should I open the random rambles with that or build up to it? And I kind of just let it marinate.
I like had the tiniest bit of coffee in my mouth, and that was the first time in my life I've done a real life spit take.
Really?
Wow.
Oh my god.
Because I forgot to even mention
that caught me really off guard.
The casualness with which you said, yeah, Belle Delphine.
It's just a commonplace subject. One day it'll be in the Webster's dictionary for all we know. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, what was I talking about? Brain Invaders?
You're gonna give me $30.
So worms, yeah. So the worms do a squiggly squoo, and they crawl inside Clone Trooper's head. There's just like a random egg sitting out in the open. It's kind of weird, maybe a little sus. A little strange, but whatever. That's the premise for it. Fine. So they start spreading. The clone like puts the egg down, and all the worms crawl out, and they go inside of the clones, and they take control of them. And then the clones are like, okay, so now we're part of this hive mind. We gotta like widen our reach. So they like start taking over the whole ship. So basically, they're with Ahsoka and Barriss, who are taking medical supplies to some random planet or battle station or medical station or something where Kit Fisto is kind of vibing. He's in this episode.
My guy, honestly.
Yeah, he has the most, just his smile brightens your day, no matter what mood you're in.
Can I take the fish people arc?
Of season 4?
Yeah.
Sure, be my
Oh, wait,
guest. Unless
yeah.
you're gonna give up Umbara for that.
Ooh.
I know that everyone's gonna be fighting over Umbara.
Yeah, I'll take fish people.
I
Then.
want it, but
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I actually wasn't. Like I said, I was really interested in doing the Reiko Hardin one. So like,
Oh, there's so many good ones.
I would be willing to pass up talking about Umbara to talk
we could
about
all
that.
do
So,
Umbara and then do an additional.
I know the ones I'm doing already.
what would
All
those
right
be?
then.
Would you care to share?
Man, you
Clone
have to
Ca-
cut shit.
Clone Cadets, Arc Troopers, and Corruption.
So good.
Standalone episodes.
We were mentioning season 4, but that's your
That
season
is-
3 call.
yeah.
Update the spreadsheet I sent you. Put it on there so we know. But for season 4, though, we're saying he's talking about the fish people one, which I actually don't know if I've ever even seen. That might be the only arc.
Seen
You haven't
it?
seen
you haven't watched
Fish
the
People?
entire series?
That and
I'll
the,
kill you in real life.
The droid one from season 5. I haven't
Yeah, that
watched
one
the full
sucks, don't
of.
worry.
Okay, good.
The one with the tiny commander.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is Gregor, which was
Yeah.
fun.
You know, he's Gregor. He's just Gregor.
No, it was pretty cool. Like that's weirdly the only.
I have seen that clip, so I've got all of my entertainment value out of it by this anime. I know R2D2 blows up too, but then they fix him.
Fish people.
So yeah, but for season 4, if you want to do that, I would gladly do the Reiko Hardin one over Umbara, only because Umbara, I feel like everybody's talked about online and kind of said everything I could possibly say about. And like, it's not my favorite. I enjoy it, but it's not my favorite. So like,
Space Vietnam.
For 4, I call Ponkrell.
okay, there you go. Great, cool, excellent.
Yeah,
But anyway,
Fuck Ponkrell. All
we-
my homies hate Ponkrell.
yeah, Ponkrell is douche. But anyway, Geonosis, brainworms. We keep getting back to the genesis of things.
Geonosis of things.
What does Sega
Yeah.
have to do with this?
So yeah, they invade brains. So like, it's basically a zombie episode. It's just literally full on like zombie body horror. It's actually like unnerving to watch. I'm not gonna say it's creepy, but it's unnerving, and they actually make an attempt to like create images that are just unpleasant to look at, which for a kids show is a little questionable. But I guess we're getting to the point where we're questioning whether it can be validly called that and still abide by the ratings, but whatever.
It's
Like,
Cartoon Network, to be fair.
yeah, that's also true. There is a shot of a dead clone with white eyes and his mouth open that like concludes the end of a scene. Like Ahsoka and Barriss run off after having impaled him with a lightsaber, and a worm was like crawling out of his mouth and everything. And that's how they end a scene.
In the second episode of my arc, we watch a dude die. Like, he dies, like, just off screen. Like, in this room that the characters are in.
In my arc, a guy kills himself.
Yeah.
Jumps.
Oh
off
yeah, I remember that. Is that?
jumps off a thing? Yeah.
That's right. Is that the guy that gets tortured to death, William?
Yeah, it's the guy that gets tortured to death. They're like, open the holocron. And he's like, I'll never open the holocron. Like, torture him to death. And then he's like, ah! And he's like, I'm dead. And, like, even the fucking trooper is like,
A droid. No less.
there's no more vital signs.
He's dead.
Like, his thing is like, all vital systems have ceased. It's like, oh my god, they killed a
It's
man.
a little dark.
Yeah, rip that, I guess. And Cad Bane's just like, okay, we'll find another one.
Well, good to do.
It's okay, we'll find another.
Why is he Squidward?
I can't. I'm not even gonna try
Need a lower
to do a
voice.
Cad Bane.
I will get him, Squid.
Ow!
I'm
Fuck,
tired.
Mr. Krabs.
Fuck me in the ass, Anakin.
Geonosis.
Yeah,
Geonosis.
Geonosis.
Come with your
This is
Jedi.
literally. I can't fucking get away from Geonosis, no matter how hard I try. They even mentioned like the fact that the characters can't get away from it either in the episode, so I'm not alone.
Wow,
Like,
how meta.
I know. Cody and Obi-Wan are talking about it. He's like, yeah, last time I was here, I was tied to a pillar and was attacked by giant animals. And he was like,
So hard.
oh, shit. Like,
I like those small references to other like movies.
Yeah.
Like there's even like in Mandalore there is like Obi-Wan's like, yeah, I saw one of your boys. He like was trying to kill me, and they're like, nah, Boba Fett or Jango Fett. He was just a bounty hunter.
apostate.
Dude.
No. Jango Fett is just a dumb bitch. And we all
Yeah,
know it.
he's a dumb bitch. We Mandalorians, we're all about peace.
we're
and-
going to ignore his chain code from The Mandalorian Season 2 for a hot second. Yeah, he's not one of us. Interesting retcon. But
Yeah.
Geonosis!
He has abandoned the way.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of stuff I have to say, the only thing I really wanted to highlight in all of that is just Anakin's affection for Ahsoka. Now we're getting more of that, in addition to Ahsoka just being, like, a genuine badass now, and it feeling like it's been worked for. You know, she doesn't do things that it doesn't make you question, like, how can she do that, because she's only like 14 at this point. Like, she's been working with Anakin long enough to the point where she gets his like improv kind of fighting style and guerrilla tactics and whatever the hell you want to call his impulsivity. It makes sense that in that time she's already developed enough as a warrior. I mean, I think it's like pretty I hesitate to say unanimously agreed online that Anakin is like one of the finer generals of the Republic. Just because of that, he seems somewhat well respected, and I put that all with an
he
asterisk.
regularly meets with the council,
yeah. So
even if
does
he's
not
not
have the
on the
rank of
council.
master.
Yeah,
he gets around.
on the
He
council.
definitely fucks too. So
He
he's said.
definitely fucks.
I mean, we know he does because, like, you know, the whole
Canonically.
yeah.
Canonically?
Canonic.
But he does it in
Canonically.
he does it in the shadows too. So.
The hedgehog?
Random shout out to the 2D animated Clone Wars series for having a scene where C-3PO strips. Anyway,
Fucks and lifts Saja's scalp.
she's in that show too.
I know.
Yeah,
Make her scalp anytime you want.
yeah.
Mythical.
Of
I
course.
think we've pretty
Yeah.
definitively covered our arcs. So I think we can end the show.
No.
Not
What about Mandalore?
All right, but one last thing, because there's one thing I wanted to say, and then it's all yours. When Ahsoka gets buried under the rubble in the second episode, Anakin is like confronted by Luminara about his like attachment issue. That again, just setting the seed for later that like he's not ready to let her go as much as Luminara is accepting of like the will of the Force or whatever. So it's interesting that we're seeing more of that too, and it's very well done. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Floor is yours, good sir.
Awesome. So, I guess like your arc was pretty spread out. That like there are different episodes. Mine's definitely different locations, but there is definitely the connection isn't just like something like a character.
For clarification, he's talking to me.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of important, but
Yeah.
for very much like the connection is Obi-Wan and Satine. Like I watched the Mandalore plot, which is it introduces Satine and Mandalore and all of that. Then there's the episode on the ship, Voyage of Temptation, and then Duchess of Mandalore, where they're on Coruscant. So like, it's all like very different locations, but it all focuses around Obi-Wan and Satine. The Mandalore plot is probably the best episode of the three, and it just like establishes so much in like 24 minutes, which is crazy. Like Obi-Wan, he's here to talk to like the people of like Duchess Satine and the Prime Minister. Is like there's rumors going around that Mandalore, what is an independent system, like and there's a lot going on with that too. But like they're like the head of like the independent systems, and like there's rumors that they're going to support the Confederacy. And I was like, oh yeah, the Republic can't have that. So I send my guy Obi-Wan, and it turns out like him and Satine have some history, which is like, yeah, so sad. And like he meets with Duchess Satine. They take a walk, and they're like talking about like, oh yeah, like there's this Death Watch group that's been doing some stuff, and they've been doing public demonstrations. And like while they're on this walk, this guy like blows like a bunch of people up, just like terrorism.
Yeah, William, your signature moment is back. Now you can actually
Hell
say
yeah,
it.
terrorism.
Woo! And like Obi-Wan chases him, and he ends up getting into like a gunfight with, well, Obi-Wan has a lightsaber, and like the guy realizes he has no way out, so he just jumps off the ledge, and like Duchess Satine comes out, and like the guy is like just on the floor, dying, and like he says some words to Satine, and like just like these 3 episodes are very much like comparing and contrasting the characters of Obi-Wan and Satine. Like Obi-Wan is a Jedi. They're supposed to be peacekeepers, but in this like galactic conflict, they've really taken on the role of generals and fighting battles, and as we talked about in your episodes, they're competing about like how many people they've killed. Meanwhile, Duchess Satine is very much like a staunch, very like pacifist. Like she even like says that like the only reason she's still talking to Obi-Wan is because that guy did kill himself and Obi-Wan wasn't the one that killed him. Like she would have just stopped talking to him like that. Like she's very, very serious, and like throughout these 3 episodes we really see her tested. The rest of the Mandalore plot, they end up going to the moon of Concordia, which like orbits Mandalore. And like we meet Pre Vizsla, who becomes a recurring character, and just like like it really sets up a lot of stuff that'll happen in other seasons and other shows, which is pretty cool. But like they're like Duchess Satine has like a dinner with Pre Vizsla. Obi-Wan goes to some place that is supposed to be abandoned, but it isn't abandoned, and they're producing a bunch of armor and weapons for the Mandalorians, and he has to like call Duchess Satine, and she has to come save him. And there's like some very nice banter between them. Like they really did used to be quite good friends. They were good friends, is all that they were, totally. And
absolutely no fucks.
Absolutely
question mark? No. Period.
The introduction of Duchess Satine brings up my favorite theme in Star Wars, which is everyone would be far happier if they left the Jedi Order.
Yeah, and like even like the second episode, which like overall is like okay, but like some of like those key themes in like the very end of the episode is just like very good. And there was actually other stuff, but we'll get to that. But like Mandalore plot, that episode, it wraps up with like they confront Pre Vizsla. Oh, it turns out he's the head of Death Watch. Wow, there's all these people betraying Satine, which is totally crazy that a culture that is known for barbaric warfare doesn't want to be pacifist. I think it's really interesting that like it was like there was a civil war before this, right? I think
between
on Mandalore. Yeah, there was definitely political unrest. No, yeah, like that's why Obi-Wan had come to know Satine, because like there was a lot of political unrest and like he was protecting her. Maybe not a full civil war, but the shit was happening.
Not to get like too like directly political about stuff, and I won't like say like direct things, but I do find it interesting like the parallels you could draw between like America and Mandalore, just as like the idea of like, oh well, when something's built on violence and whatever, like can that place ever escape violence, or is it always going to be at its
like,
core?
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be the first time they've done that either.
Yeah, it's all of this is commentary, and like these 3 episodes, just that commentary. Like, what is the role? Like, how do you keep peace?
What is
like
it mean
Satine's way, or Obi-Wan's way? Like where there's times when you need to use force.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, like, let's also get something clear. This is a very political show, and this is a very political set of episodes.
Star Wars is political. Wow, it's crazy. Especially the Clone Wars. Oh my, like...
It's the most political.
Yeah, this is, like, a very, wow, yeah.
There's only one thing more political than that, and it's Andor.
I think this is...
The Book of Boba Fett is
Shut up! You're wrong! Politically garbage!
What? It's like the most, like when you go like into the deep cesspits of like the internet and you find like the worst take. That's the Book of Boba Fett. That's what it is.
Honestly.
Okay.
That's probably an exaggeration, but it gives you a
destiny.
I forgot about that.
Tales of the Jedi.
But okay, second episode, Voyage of Temptation, and most of the episode I don't really care about. Like it's a whole like whodunit mystery episode where they're on the ship and like a bunch of like peaceful senators.
I really love that episode.
Satine is like it's enjoyable, but like only really like the end is like and even like the name of the episode.
I got what it means finally.
Voyage of Temptation.
I get it now.
Do you get it? I bet there's
finally.
There might be I think there's actually even multiple meanings.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
I think it's
probably.
And it's all like that end of the episode, but like it's all like this whodunit, like there's Senator's piece, and like there's turns out there's these spiders, and it turns out another person betrayed Satine, which I know is really crazy.
Wow, yeah.
But basically, the whole episode culminates, and even like there's also like there's more like conversation between Obi-Wan and Satine. It's like.
Honestly, any
The
episode
the sass between them is great.
Sass.
Yeah, I think that's the best. It's not even banter at this point. It's like full on like they're like basically almost insulting each other. It's like all the like the peaceful senators.
But doesn't it like awkwardly kind of just start shifting to just outright flirting at one point too?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're totally flirting.
Like,
It's like one
it's-
of those scenes like where like two people are fighting, and as soon as they're alone, they just start going at it.
That's-
Yeah.
We're not that lucky,
That's
but
so
yeah.
funny because in one of my
Lucky. I know you watched MILF Manor, but
oh, dude,
so do you.
there's the finale. I don't know if you.
I don't. You mean
don't
the
worry about it.
climax?
Hey,
okay.
I was working on a paper.
We
I
dragged that
actually
out
missed
too
most
far.
of it.
We've gotten
yeah.
all our use out of that.
But
joke.
Voyage of Temptation, but like the important part all culminates in the end of the episode where the guy who betrayed Satine takes her hostage at gunpoint, and Obi-Wan needs to save her without killing someone, which is
What a
a
choice.
really interesting. So like yeah, like there's like the guy's about to escape with Satine, and like Satine's like I know this is a really shitty time, but I've literally always loved you. And Obi-Wan's like, Obi-Wan's like, if you said the word "milady," I would have left the Jedi Order.
Sorry, my
Why it makes me fucking cry.
It's so sad.
It's beautifully
Oh.
romantic.
Yeah.
And it's, oh my god,
And, like,
it makes me want
They
to die.
barely get any other chance to really talk it out. Even in like
don't
the
worry, they get a moment later. When
it's like I can't even call it a moment. It's just like because it's just and like yeah, we have that, and like she ends up like getting the gun from him, and so now she, a very staunch pacifist, which we've established throughout these 2 episodes, is now pointing a weapon of murder against the person who has a button that will destroy the entire ship if they don't stop him. And so they're just caught in a deadlock where she can't she is like really struggling over whether to kill him. Her fingers are twitching. Obi-Wan, if he like even like the guy is like all saying like, oh yeah, if an Obi-Wan kills me, he'll be the hero of the ship to almost everyone. And then Anakin comes up behind him, stabs him, smiles, and the Darth Vader theme plays.
Of course.
And that is the pinnacle of this episode, Voyage of Temptation. It all surrounds like that temptation to like betray your morals in the case of Satine. Really with Anakin, like that whole like the foreshadowing, like to temptation to give in to his darker impulses. Like, oh, he's gonna blow up the ship. While the Darth Vader theme is playing, and Obi-Wan's even just like, Anakin, my God,
Anakin, you silly little
you
Billy.
silly
Like,
little goose.
The guy was like kind of an ist, but like
yeah.
Sure.
you know, still, but a
Yeah.
little sus.
So like that redeems the entire episode. Like that entire scene is like,
That's like a good heart for an episode. to
it's
have.
good. Yeah. It's not a bad episode. That's not what I was trying to say, but yeah, and that's good. And then we get to Duchess of Mandalore, which is just a pretty standard, decent. It's pretty good, but so like, and very characteristic of Palpatine, he's always meddling and stuff. But basically, she's coming to Coruscant to basically ask the Republic to not intervene in her politics, which is something the Republic loves to do, and Death Watch very much wants them to, because that will turn them from terrorists to liberators, and Palpatine is very much moving for that, and they produce a let's call it a deep faked video of one of Satine's senators basically saying, we need to send troops to Mandalore. And she's like, "Oh, this isn't right, dude. It's deep faked, man. It's
God,
not real."
We really can't get away from that fucking AI art, can we?
It's
It keeps coming
really
back for
close.
us.
This is
Sorry,
not.
it's not art though.
Every time I
it's-
try to like just avoid that topic, it's like, oh wait, but it's back.
I've never
It's
stopped thinking
back
about
for your
it.
kids.
It's coming.
Oh man, yeah. So they deep fake a vid. Wow.
they
that-
deep fake a video basically to show it as proof and send it, and so the whole episode is like trying to stop that, and like they're always like one step ahead of Satine. Like there's an assassination attempt, like, and like her driver has to sacrifice himself, and she's like sad about that. She meets with Palpatine. She's like, dude, there's people trying to kill me. It's like, there's not people trying to kill you. There's no proof. And of course, while they're having that meeting, the Senate meeting to vote for the intervention is mysteriously moved up. And by the time she's out of the meeting, it's already been decided that tomorrow the troops are going to be leaving. And so she goes out and meets one of her contacts who just happens to have like the unedited video, the undeep faked video, as it were. And then he's shot, of course, by the assassin. And then she's framed for the murder of him and is on the run for a little bit. She meets up with her boyfriend Obi-Wan, and no, nothing. Nothing.
I mean,
You just said
I
a
think
factual statement.
I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah,
did
it's
say a
kinda-
factual statement.
It kind of seems to be
And
unanimous.
Anakin says that in episode 2, which is really funny.
Yes,
Um,
that was a nice moment.
And like they're kind of like wrestling with what to do, and Obi-Wan ends up taking it, and she hands herself in, and they present the unedited footage, and like they ended up like saving it so that okay, there's not going to be an intervention. There was also a little bit more drama with Palpatine, and then moving up things again ahead of stuff. Normal BS.
Typical politics, am I right?
Yeah, like Padme plays a role. She's the one that presents the evidence. Mon Mothma actually appears, but doesn't say anything because I guess her voice actor wasn't available. I actually doubt that. I think they were just including her for fun, but
Probably.
it was still pretty cool.
Probably.
But yeah,
It sounds like Voyage of Temptation was the high point in this
I think
arc.
it was, even if the rest of the episode wasn't as like definitely that's like that scene was like very instrumental. Just the rest of the series foreshadowing and just like the relationship between Satine and Obi-Wan, and that being a mirror to Padme and Anakin's relationship, and Jedi forming attachments, and just Jedi's role as very, very cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Mandalore.
Mandalore.
The lore of Mandalore.
The lore of Mandalore.
Mandalore.
I guess there was also notes on like it's really cool Mandalorian architecture and just their people, and just again like that history of violence.
I would love to see more of that. If they
And-
ever do an Old Republic era or something.
it'd be so cool.
you know?
And just like even like the Death Watch, like they put up a fight against Obi-Wan. Like 2 of them are able to restrain him, and Satine has
Yeah.
to save him. And even just like in the battle, like when like Obi-Wan like comes out, like he's very much not on equal footing, and like it's just because they're able to escape that like nothing goes wrong, and like they have like a little bit of light. The dark saber. Yeah, the dark saber is introduced
Oh,
in
right,
the
yeah.
Mandalorian
Wow,
first
we just
episode.
skipped
We
right
might have
over
skipped
that.
the dark
Oh
saber.
my god, it's that prop
That
from
happened.
the Disney show that everybody goes nuts for.
It's
It's here.
the black lightsaber. Yeah, and like there's a little bit of lore. Is like my ancestors stole this from one of your Jedi bros, and I've killed. There's a lot of Jedi have died to this blade. I'm gonna kill you, and he doesn't kill him, but
Nah.
it's a pretty equal fight, all things considered.
Pre Vizsla's kind
Like,
of an alpha male, and
He is, and like even
He's
just
the Andrew Tate of Star Wars.
I guess he,
honestly, yes.
he gets like his ass
Because
kicked
everybody
by.
celebrates when he dies.
Yeah, and there was even like a deleted
Yeah.
scene where his head just rolls down the stairs.
It's really funny that like
Yeah.
the equivalent of like what looks like Satan goes to just kick his ass. Like even Satan hates him.
Yes, Satan has a bone to pick. Yeah, and like
I just noticed your balancing act on your head. William has a dime on his forehead.
an American piece of
Does it make
currency.
sense?
This has been Mythical Podcast. No, but actually though, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good episodes.
Indeed.
Can I offer one thing?
Yeah.
Can we just like redo that moment, but like it's like we're all completely silent, and then that's actually where it ends.
That'd take too much effort, and we couldn't stage it perfectly.
And we also can't shout each other out either.
Okay.
Don't you want a shout out for your podcast?
Honestly,
your stream.
you can take that audio mythical and
Oh,
just
yeah.
do it like a fake ending.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do so
Only you
many
had
things to that
ending
audio.
music.
If only you. Oh yeah, I do need that though.
I
to be
just
honest.
stole my music for my streams from Portal.
Based.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of based NGL. I wrote my own music for my first title that I used in like my first 2 videos.
Cool.
But I stopped using it just because I didn't make a lot of videos where it felt like it fit. And I certainly didn't want to be one of those YouTubers that has the crazy like flying objects. Yeah.
Mythical. Misspelled something, but I spent $50.
Yeah.
England is my city.
Yeah.
When are we doing the monomythical rap?
Honestly.
Let me get back to you on that. I gotta contact my agent first, but then I think we can make it work. Yeah, I think that's all we have to say about this. Then it sounds like for season 2. So season 2 definitely a mark of improvement over
animation,
like a
season
characters,
something great already.
Yeah, like I didn't really like despise any of the episodes I watched. I thought they were really like fairly well constructed.
None of them were like quite as good as Bombad Jedi, but like several
Nah.
of them got really close.
The standard's been set.
The lighting in The Mandalore, like the first episode,
Oh,
is
yeah.
so good with like the palace and the glass and lighting coming in.
Geonosis too, and they
Yeah.
mastered like the textures on the characters too.
Yeah,
Like
such
they
a
were
big
covered with
improvement.
like dirt and dust on Geonosis.
I think if we're going by like the important thing, like that, like the through line of these episodes is like it introduces or solidifies 3 very important characters, which I would say is Cad Bane, Luminar, and Duchess of Mandalore.
I don't know if I'd say Luminar is like one of the key characters, but she's
sorry,
definitely
wait,
a character.
What was her Padawan?
Barriss.
Barriss
Yes.
is who I meant.
Now Barriss.
They play
is
roles
important.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Actually, Barriss, I don't think is in the show until the final arc of season 5.
She has a few. She appears a few times.
Where else?
I think. But anyway, like she's still very important to the lore.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They're still important
She's
characters.
the reason that Ahsoka fucks off.
I have like a
That's
sinking.
the technical term.
Yeah, that's what the Jedi
She's
say.
definitely
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah.
Fucked off.
She.
Fuck off, she did.
Fuck off, she must.
Why did he become Scooby-Doo at the end?
That
Yoda
was
did.
my attempt at a Frank Oz laugh, but it didn't. Whatever.
That's my attempt at a Yoda laugh. So should we start plugging each other?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's the time for that.
Connor, what do you have to plug?
I have nothing to plug, and you damn well know that.
Start something so we can
one
plug you.
day,
That made
one
me
day,
sad.
I swear, I'll record something funny with my friends. I'll upload it, and it'll be great.
I'm sorry, what are we doing right now?
Wow, it's crazy! I made
Can
it, guys.
you plug the monomythical
I mean,
podcast?
I'd like to thank the Academy.
I mean, if you ever wanted to like make your own podcast, I would gladly sit in with
That would
you
be
on
fun.
it. I don't know what we would talk
So would
about.
I.
but-
Let's talk about Star Wars. How about that?
Yeah, Star
That
Wars,
would
like
be-
sci-fi,
Let's go in
and
reverse chronological order
All
like
right,
I could
Rise
do
of
a tech
Skywalker.
podcast. I could talk for that about hours.
for that about hours.
I'm not-
English is not my strong suit, however.
But
I would
England
not do a
is my
podcast.
city.
England is my city, however.
Yeah. Ouch. William, you plug in?
I stream on Twitch. You can give me money. I'm playing Resident Evil 4, going through that. Tomorrow night, obviously this is going out after the fact, but I play a lot of... I'm pranking my friend. We're going to play a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's after we play a fan remake of Garten of Banban, a really bad game, but the remake is apparently half decent, and it was made in a fucking week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. And probably still more
Quality.
effort.
design.
And by a guy that has never made a game before.
Wow, even more impressive. That the standards have never been lower. I
I should
guess.
make a game.
Go for it. So I guess by the time that this reaches the internet, you will still be searching for funds for your security breach.
Yeah, I will be searching for most likely when this reaches the internet, I will be searching for a job.
Same.
I mean, I'm graduating is my point.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
That's a bit
yeah.
pessimistic of my upload schedule.
Not 2 months to
Ouch.
get there.
Ouch. I upload pretty fast.
by the
Shit,
time-
you're a senior. I forgot
Yeah,
that.
I'm significantly older than you, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then by the time that this gets out, Mythical, you'll be graduating, and then.
Yeah, I'll be way off.
Speaking of Mythical, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Well, you're on the channel, so plug that subscribe button. Smash it. Hit it so hard that it turns a different color.
Become
and then
one with the subscribe button and ring the bell.
Yeah, do that. Do that. You ring that bell. Anyway, this has been Mythical Podcasts with myself, Connor, and William Has Given Up. Go support the boys in whatever way is humanly possible at the moment. And I will be putting their links in the description below.
Give William money so he continues to give up and plays
Do that.
Security
yeah.
Breach.
Do that.
Yeah, give
do
me
that.
money, but also subscribe to Mono Mythical.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thank you. Yeah, do that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you all.
Yeah. Well-
Dear viewers, if you've made it this far.
And remember, if you've gotten this far, we're gonna give you all a big kiss when you least expect it. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.